Adam Sims is with me, chairman of Leeds PLC, which is a regeneration specialist based in Leeds, rather as the name suggests. Adam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Andrew.
Just thoughts on what you've been hearing?
Well, it's fantastic news. HS3, it's going to generate growth, prosperity. For all of us that live and work in the Leeds City region. Manchester is now a gateway to the world, and for my children and for their children, they will have the opportunity to grow up in an economic conurbation that will rival, the northwest Rhine area of Germany.
So what the Chancellor is saying makes sense?
Absolutely.
Do you think it will happen? Because
Yes.
the two are very different things,
Yes.
aren't they?
Yeah, it's got to happen. It's long overdue. Hull to Liverpool, working
So
together.
do the whole hog.
Yeah,
Don't just talk about Leeds, Manchester.
Yeah, the whole thing. We have some very, very clever people in this region, and the listeners who are listening to this now will agree. We can do a lot, and if we work together, we can be a very powerful area in the world.
If we work together, we know how strong rivalries are. It's hard enough often to get Leeds and Bradford to work together, let alone West Yorkshire and Greater Manchester, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's an old paradigm. That's an old way of thinking. We need to think that's an old way of thinking, Andrew. We need to put that aside. We are in Europe. We're in it together, and and I know when we work together with somebody, we get more done. It's as simple as that.
But in reality, you look at what happens in this country, a history of people saying, I don't want the rail line's fine, as long as it doesn't happen to go where I live, or yeah, we'll build that, but as long as it's not here. Or do I want to pay the taxes for it? In this country, there seem to be obstacles put in the way. It takes us forever to do these big projects, doesn't it?
Well, let's talk to people from my generation. I was born in 1980. I'm not aware of any major infrastructure project that's being implemented in the north of England. I know of Eurotunnel, HS1, and Crossrail, all in the south. Your listeners will probably remember when the M62 was built.
That's the last big comparable infrastructure project.
I wasn't around, so all I've experienced, and many millions of my generation have experienced, is this creaking infrastructure that's just slowly got to the point now where something's got to be done.
Why do you feel so confident then? I spoke to Ben Ziff, another Leeds businessman, after 4, and he was saying he's absolutely confident it should happen and will happen.
Yeah.
He's not prepared to put a time scale on it. His frustration is that it does take so long. Unlike some other European countries, we don't seem to be able to push through from planning to getting stuff built very quickly.
Yeah, well, this is where we need leadership, and we talk about mayors. And we had the opportunity here. We didn't get a mayor, but if we had strong regional leaders that can nail the colours to the mast, and push things forward, galvanise support, that's when we can make things happen quicker.
Ben Ziff's view was that Manchester will probably benefit more. Manchester has historically been better at getting infrastructure stuff built. It's got a very strong leadership there of a council chief executive and a council leader. Can West Yorkshire do this? That's what I suppose people listening want to hear.
Well, I think it's clear to see. Obviously, Mr. Bernstein's done an excellent job in Manchester, and I think we've got the leadership now in Leeds with Tom Riordan and his executive team that can really make a difference. They are the right people.
To the sceptics, and there will be sceptics, there are always people to criticise things, particularly when they're first mentioned. What would you say? Because you've come through it here, Adam. You are absolutely adamant this is the right thing at the right time. We need to do it. What would you say?
Well, there's a couple of things on that, Andrew, really. I'm sure they were saying that in the late 80s and the early 90s about Eurotunnel. And where would we be now without Eurotunnel? Well, still chugging across the channel on a ferry, with all the goods and services that we sell into Europe. Crazy. If we lived in Germany, if we lived in the Nordwest Rhine-Falen, which is a similar sort of economic area to the north of England, if I was going to Dortmund to Cologne, it's 45 miles. It would take me 27 minutes on a train. Leeds to Manchester Airport is 42 miles. It takes me 1 hour and 17 minutes.
There's his argument. It's been great to meet you. I'd like to speak to you again over the months because it's just fascinating to get your insight this afternoon. I'm really glad you came in, Adam. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Adam Sims, chairman of Leeds PLC regeneration specialist based in Leeds. Your thoughts, HS3. We can't afford not to have it, is his argument. What do you say? 81333 Leeds at the start of your text.
West Yorkshire Travel.
BBC Radio Leeds.